right, so in here are a bunch of nilgai. Nilgai are a breed of antelope and they're from Asia. So when they're first born, they're all this light tannish color. And as the males get older and mature, they get really, really dark. And usually only the males get the horns. But we do have one female in there that is starting to grow a little bit of horns. So since these guys are antelopes, they are prey animals. So they're usually pretty shy. Sometimes they do come up to the fence, let us pet them. Not always though. All right, so over here we do have our giraffe. His name is Eclipse. Eclipse was born about 6 years ago during that big solar eclipse, which is why he has his name. And since he is 6 years old, he is done growing. Giraffes are usually full grown between 5 and 6. So he's probably not going to get any bigger. We don't know exactly how tall he is because he does not like to stand still for us. When giraffes are first born, mom gives birth standing up, and the baby's about 7 feet tall. He has lots of other little animal friends in here, like these camels and these ostriches. They're not a huge fan of him, but he loves them, loves to mess with them. When we have younger ostriches, we'll put them in this pen, and he waits till they all gather around the fence, and he'll run at the fence and watch them scatter. It's his favorite thing to do. Giraffes are the only animals that are born with their horns. When they're first born, though, those horns aren't fused to their skulls, so it doesn't hurt mom. And they use those horns and that big hump on their forehead to fight in the wild. Another fun thing about giraffes, they have the same number of bones in their neck as we do. They only have 7 vertebrae. Theirs are just, of course, much bigger and longer than ours. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this if he'll pay attention to me. Come here, Eclipse. So you're just going to grab the end of the sweet potato and you're going to hold it out and you can grab. You going to take it? All right.
He got you.
All right. Has everybody who wants to feed fed? Oops. You want another one?
I got the whole camera. So cool.
Baby elands, and then the other 2 smaller ones are baby nilgai. So those 2 nilgai right there are actually about 7 months old, and then these 2 right here are only a few months old. So you can definitely see the difference in them. Elands are the largest breed of antelope in the entire world, and they are from Africa. So with the elands, unlike the nilgai, both the males and the females get the horns, and they start growing those horns almost immediately after they're born. So you can see they're only a couple of months old and those horns are already very, very long. And the older they get, the longer and more spirally those horns get. We keep a lot of llamas and alpacas around the farm and on our different properties with different animals as guardian animals because they do have those really sharp hooves and they can spit. It is not spit, it is throw up, so that is not great. Okay, yeah. And usually, we don't have to worry about them spitting on people. They usually only spit on each other. But if they make a high-pitched whining noise, put their ears back, it's usually a good indicator to take a step back. And this little one laying down is a babe, like one of our young, I think that is the youngest baby. He's only a few days old. Back here behind me is Rafiki. Rafiki is a retired trick zebra, and you guys are more than welcome to pet him. He's only in here because he gets a little pushy sometimes, doesn't realize how big and strong he is. He usually just wanders the farm and eats as much as he wants. Rafiki is the only animal that I will walk directly behind. I will walk behind him and push him. He doesn't do. Here we have one of our baby camels. This is Tiso. He's not our youngest camel. He's one of the youngest ones though. But they're very sweet when they're first born. They're all legs and neck. They look real goofy. We've got quite a few more baby camels, but if we get them all together, especially when we have smaller kids in the groups, once one of them gets excited, they'll start throwing their legs out and running around. But they're very friendly, very curious.
Excuse me, I'm going to chase your shirt now.
Over here laying down next to me is a Scottish Highlander. He's still pretty young. You guys can pet him as well. He's very friendly, but he's still pretty young, so he's still pretty small. He'll get quite a bit bigger. Scottish Highlanders are the oldest registered breed of cattle in the entire world. And if you have a herd of cattle go, like a normal herd of cattle, go through a field or a pasture, anything they don't eat, the Highlanders will. Booger here with the one eye, he is a retired performance horse. There's a picture somewhere in the lobby of him up on stage. This pony right behind Booger here, that is Chippewa. That is the pony you guys, the little ones, will be riding. And next to Chippewa is Angela, and next to Angela is Andy. And so the camels we have here are dromedary camels. That means they just have that one hump. And you can kind of see on Mathis and those other camels there, but definitely on Mathis because he's facing us. He's got these pads on his knees, and you might not be able to see on the one on his chest. So those are the only 7 points of their body that touch the ground when they lay down. He gets that really, really big hump on his back and those long floppy ears and those horns. He is relatively small compared to our other Indu bulls that we have, since he is still pretty young. Laying down over here, we have Boston, our Texas Longhorn. And one really cool thing about Longhorns is even though he's got those really long horns, Longhorns are very rare where those horns are. So usually if you get hit with a horn of a Longhorn, it's on purpose. All right, so these are ostriches. Ostriches are the largest bird in the entire world, and they are from Africa. And I wouldn't recommend getting super close to this fence unless you absolutely want to. So these lighter brownish gray colored ones are the females, and then the black and white speckled ones are the males. Dinosaurs. These guys only have 2 toes, and I think that makes them look like dinosaurs. They are not the smartest animals. Their brains are smaller than their eyeballs. Ostriches can run about 45 miles an hour. When it comes to racing ostriches, there is no stop, start, left, right, anything like that. They're pretty good to know that once the chute opens, they're supposed to run, but that's about it. At the end of the race, the jockeys have to jump off of the ostriches because they won't stop. So we gather and incubate and hatch all of our ostriches here. And then once those ostriches first hatch, we have to teach them how to eat and drink and everything like that. They have 0 instincts. So this time of year, the males do get a little aggressive since it is mating season for them. So whenever they first start laying eggs, which would have been in March or so, we could go out there just one person and gather the eggs. Now they're getting very aggressive and hissing at each other, chasing each other, things like that. And so usually when we go gather eggs, it takes at least 2 of us.
She's
I mean, she likes you.
And I think that bumping is her heart.
Take them, they'll run. The dog's gonna get her.
Oh,
Okay guys, that was the end of the Animal Farm Hotel. Let's go.